massive.
Non, s'il vous plaît.
Go on.
Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle David Shaw et je suis le vice-président senior en charge de l'international et du contenu pour l'UFC. Nous sommes extrêmement fiers d'avoir enfin organisé notre tout premier événement en France. Au nom de Dana, Lawrence, Mark Ratner et toute l'équipe de l'UFC, je voudrais exprimer notre reconnaissance et notre gratitude aux personnes suivantes. Tout d'abord, Madame la ministre du Sport et la Fédération française de boxe présidée par M. Dominique Neto. Nos hôtes de l'Accor Arena et nos partenaires audiovisuels historiques RMC Sport et l'équipe. L'ensemble de l'équipe de la Fédération internationale de MMA et en particulier Bertrand Amoussou qui est engagé depuis plus de 15 ans pour développer le MMA en France. Et bien évidemment, vous tous, les médias, qui couvrait l'organisation et ce premier événement UFC en France depuis de nombreux mois. Il nous a fallu de nombreuses années de dur travail pour développer notre sport et être là ce soir. Et nous sommes très enthousiastes à l'aider de revenir en France dans le futur. So I wanted to say a few words of thanks to a few key people who made this event possible after many, many years of work towards the legalization and structuration of France, of MMA in France. The Minister of Sport and the French Boxing Federation, Monsieur Dominique Neto, the Accor Arena and our partners at RMC Sport and L'Equipe, the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, and especially Bertrand Amoussou, who for over 15 years has been working towards the development of MMA in France. And lastly, all of you who have helped really make the support and the promotion and the welcoming of the UFC in France such a special occasion and such a strong week for the sport of MMA here in Paris. Tonight we broke the Arena Live event record with a gate of 3,420,422 euros, 24th straight sellout for the UFC at 15,405. The fight of the night goes to Cyril and Ty. And the performance bonuses go to Benoit Saint-Denis and Magomedov. With that, I'll open the floor to questions. En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
You know, with the numbers that you've just mentioned there, is it, you know, how impressive is that considering that MMA was, you know, not legal here 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we're very, very grateful for the turnout. We've seen, you know, the first time in New York, the first time in Toronto, the first time in Perth and in Melbourne, when you've got some pent-up demand after a significant period of time of not being able to host MMA events, there's certainly a surge in interest, and there's an interest from a community that extends well beyond just the MMA community, and I think we saw that tonight. We really view this week and this weekend as sort of a springboard to the accelerated growth of mixed martial arts in France, and hopefully after that main event, you know, it's not going to be too long before we're back.
Yeah, with that being said, you know, London is somewhere that you go, you know, regularly every year. Do you think Paris can be the same?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we've been actually pretty vocal about wanting to get to France at least once a year, not only in the preparation and as we've met with a number of different constituents, different bodies here in France, but even this week you heard Lawrence talking about us making France a destination annually.
David over here.
Yes, sir.
Just the success of tonight coupled with 2 big shows in London this year. I mean, what does that say about the strength of the European market right now, and how likely are we to see additional countries in 2023?
Very likely. I mean, I think the plan for 2023 is to try to get back to pre-COVID levels in terms of the number of international events we're having. So we'll get back to Abu Dhabi. Obviously, well, we're going to be there in a couple months. But we'll be there in 23, London, France. We need to get back to Scandinavia. We've been talking about going to Germany, even Spain. There's a number of different countries we want to get to. So, you know, we're going to be maxed out by the 42 total events. And I think, as you guys know, they're divided up in fairly, you know, straightforward ways, as we've done in the past with Brazil and Australia and Canada and obviously the events that we're having in the U.S. So our goal is to, you know, try to get to at least one new country next year, at least one that we haven't been to in 3 or 4 years since COVID. But we're still in those planned development stages at the moment.
And just the fan reaction tonight. I mean,
Yeah,
that
cool.
might have been the loudest venue that I've been in. What was it for you?
Yeah, much of the same. It's always nice to see the different cultural elements of a live fan base, and whether it was the national anthem or the, if you're not jumping up and down, you're not French, and all of the other activities that were going on in the fan base, in the seats. It was incredible. It was wild, and Florence and I were texting with Dana and Mick, and he could tell on air that it was just mental in here.
Last one for me. We talked about the European countries. You also haven't been to Canada since 2019. Just wondering if there's anything on the horizon there.
Yeah, we're trying to get to Canada as soon as we can. So, Toronto's typically a pay-per-view market, as is Edmonton, maybe Calgary. Pay-per-views are hard to come by, and then you try to line those up with availabilities of dates at the arenas that we need to get to across Canada. We're hoping to get back to Canada 3 times, as I mentioned, to get to sort of pre-COVID event levels. Or event sort of allocation between the different regions around the world. So need to get back there very soon. You're welcome.
When you obviously, like today has been a smash hit and the whole week's been great, you guys have had amazing media turnout for a new market, but I'm curious how much pressure is on you to actually have an event go like this, right? You want your first one to be an amazing show that you can springboard into the next one and so on and so forth. So when you have a night like this with a main event like that and you can all sit here and think, okay, job's done, how important is it to actually have an event go off like this?
Yeah, listen, it's better than the alternative. It's better than if the card was a bit lackluster. But, Dana, Sean, Mick, Hunter always put together compelling cards. Once those cards are set, the fights need to be left to themselves. I think what we can do within our control is to create a very comprehensive and compelling impact in the market, right? And so having the fan experience, getting back to do open workouts. Lawrence did sort of a breakfast with a government sort of commercial community at the French American Foundation on Friday morning. We did an increased number of sort of fighter activations. So for us, being here for the first time and making an impact on the community, especially for people who just aren't, they're not aware, they're not exposed to UFC that often, and if they can get, to the weigh-ins were full with 3,000, 3,500 people that were here. That's what we can control, and I think the impact we made. The other thing that I think was important was because we were in France, we were able to have, the fights post 10:30 appear on free air, which is huge. So I'm not sure how it looked on the broadcast, but the intention was to have a bit of a soft reset and for the broadcasters to essentially say, we're now live across the country with the first MMA event or first UFC event in France. And that was the Nasruddin fight, so it was a pretty good kickoff to, for the entire country to be able to watch UFC, no matter, what kind of, streaming service or pay TV service or free-to-air channel you had.
Dave, do you have the official translation to US dollars for the gate?
Well, these days it's about 1-to-1, so I don't have it in front of me, but it's pretty close.
I thought I'd missed it. I was just baffled by mesmerized by your French.
Yeah, right. All right. I think everyone was.
Swedish television here. Hi, over here.
Hello.
You yourself mentioned Scandinavia, going back to Scandinavia. Now, more specific, Sweden. Any plans for 223? Or there's also been some rumors about the end of 222 and November, December?
Yeah, so nothing to confirm at the moment. We've been looking, last time we were at Royal Arena in Copenhagen, it was incredible. We've been to Stockholm multiple times with, not only a stadium event, but a couple arena events. We're hopeful to get back there. Unfortunately, nothing to share at the moment, but on the docket for 2023.
Thank you.
Yes, right here.
Yes, sir.
Today we had a Dutch fighter, Janno Ernst, and he was the first Dutchman that has been signed since 2017. And a lot of people are wondering if there's any plans of coming back to the Netherlands or signing more Dutchies, because we're running low right now.
Running low. Yeah, so I apologize that Amsterdam or that the Netherlands was left off the list. We've been looking at Rotterdam and Amsterdam for a bit as well. And we've got an incredible new partnership with Discovery. They've been huge supporters of ours and have invested heavily in the sport. And so for us to have our sport showcased in such a meaningful and thoughtful way, their approach has been excellent, and we're very happy with the relationship. So yeah, not much I can say on the event, and when it comes to fighter development, Sean and Mick are working, tirelessly to try to find new athletes. I don't know what they've got. Quite honestly, I don't know what they've got on the horizon, but we can ask them next time. Okay.
So, sorry.
Yeah, we'll do one more.
You had two Italian fighters competing on the main card. I guess part of the audience was Italian fans cheering them up. And you mentioned that the UFC is exploring new territories. Is Italy perhaps included in those new territories that are being considered?
Yeah, absolutely. The challenge with us is finding an appropriate venue, we haven't really determined where that would be at the moment, but we'd love to. Honestly, we'd love to, especially when you consider, it seemed like there were two groups of Italians, one and one on the other end, and they were sort of doing call and answer chants, and that was pretty impressive. So we'd love to. There's a lot of fans of Italy in our company.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, guys, I can't thank you enough. This is a pretty special week for the UFC, and we couldn't have made an impact like we have without the support and hard work from you guys, so we really appreciate it. Have a good night. Safe travels.